Hello, dear viewers. Namaskar. Welcome to Moksha Media. You are with Moksha Hiremat. Vachanas are great contribution to Kannada language and literature. There are thousands of Vachanakaras. Most of them spontaneously expressed their emotions, thoughts, ideals, spirituality, etc., etc. They are very competitive in their expressions and the use of language. Of course, Vachanakaras use a simple and understandable language even to common people. They are words beyond words. Today, I would like to put forth before you the Vachanakara Kushtagi Karibasaveshwara. Most of you may have not heard the name of Karibasaveshwara. Karibasaveshwara was a Vachanakara, Sharana, Pitadipati, and spiritualist. He was lived around the common era of 1700 AD. We don't have lot of information regarding his life and date, birth and death. Of course, it happens in case of almost all Vachanakaras and Sharanas. So, Kushtagi Karibasaveshwara is not an exception to this. Kushtagi Karibasaveshwara was a Pitadipati of Kalmata at Kushtagi in the district of Koppal, Karnataka, India. It is belonged to Nidumamidi tradition. Kushtagi Karibasaveshwara was Pitadipati. As a Pitadipati, he had his own limitations and convenience, comforts, and problems. By avoiding all those things, by solving all those things, Karibasaveshwara gave an expression to his emotions, thoughts, morality, and spirituality. Paschakante Channabasaveshwara was his guru. His signature is Akhanda Paripurna Ganalinga Guru Channabasaveshwara. 99 vachanas of him have been found, and Karibasaveshwara tells of them they are the vachanas of emancipation of mind and spirituality. Of course, Karibasaveshwara was very outright in expressing his thoughts and ideals. He was against dictatorship, exploitation, suppression, and social evils. and hypocrites and the persons who acting as they knew the future of others. He did not like these qualities prevailed in the society at that time. Of course, at that time, that area was under the reign of Adil Shahi of Bijapur. Kushtagi was the revenue headquarters at that time. When it was a revenue headquarters, there were so many things to be happened and not to be happened. Especially Kushtagi Karibasaveshwara was against social evils, hypocrites, and prostitution which was prevailed at that time. So he gave his expression against these social evils and hypocrisies. He used simple language, but it is very expletive and moral. Here, I would like to put forth for you some of his vachanas. Listen, you cowards, who rise at dawn and go shivering to pluck flowers, plants, and leaves. Are you not committing a heinous sin? Here, he addressed cowards. There are some people, they get up early in the morning and they go to pluck the flowers, shivering in the cold or in the morning, and they would like to pluck the flowers for the worship of God. And they were shivering, even in their shivering, they would like to pluck them. But they have to shiver for what? Shiver in fear of wealth and women that belong to others. Shiver in fear of murder, lies, theft, and adultery. Shiver in fear of insult to Shiva and Guru and foul doings. But actually, human beings should shiver for the others' property. They should shiver for others' belongingness. They should shiver for women that belong to others, and they should shiver for murders, theft, and adultery, that is licentious life. They should shiver for loose characters, and they should shiver, they should in fear of insult to Shiva and Guru and morality. Instead, you shiver in rain, wind, and cold to pluck flowers, plants, and leaves. How can heinous sinners like you worshipping Shiva? No, never. Akanda Paripurna, Ganalinga Guru, Karibasaveshwara, Shiva be my witness. But these persons go shivering to the forest or to the nearby area to pluck the flowers, plants, and leaves in order to worship Shiva. But when they have these heinous activities, when they are hypocrites, when they have loose characters and adultery, then how can they worship Shiva? So they never worship Shiva, and their worship cannot be accepted. So he tells, Akhanda Paripurna Ganalinga Guru Karibasaveshwara. And for that he makes Shiva as his witness. Then another vachana. like a fly fallen into honey, like a fool left blindfolded in a forest, like a dog chewing a bone, like a swine eating a shit. O mind loving women, don't ruin yourself and suffer loss of pride. Be a lover of linga, O mind, if you want to eternal salvation. Akhanda Paripurna, Ganalinga Guru, Channabasaveshwara, Shiva, be my witness. So, of course, we know the conditions of a fly fallen into a honey. We know the conditions of a person blindfolded and left in a forest. We know how that dog enjoying chewing a bone and how swine enjoying its shit. And loving woman, these things ruin your life. They make you suffer. They make the loss of your pride. That is why you should not become these things, these worldly things. Instead, you should become a lover of linga. O mind, if you want eternal salvation, so if you become the lover of a linga, you can have eternal salvation forever and ever. Otherwise, you will be in a wheel, poisonous wheel, out of which you cannot come back. So, Akhanda Paripurna, Ganalinga Guru, Channabasaveshwara, then he makes Shiva witness for this. Of course, then another one. Can a pig become a king if seated in a palanquin? Can a dog become horse if given golden reins? Can a little maiden become an heartful prostitute? Can gold become iron? Those who pretend devotion and err are not worth looking at. Akhanda Paripurna, Ganalinga Guru, Channabasaveshwara, Shiva, be my witness. So here, a pig cannot become a king, even though it is sit in the palanquin. A dog cannot become a horse, even it is tied with golden chain, golden rein. A little maiden cannot become a heartful prostitute. Gold cannot become iron. But some people are there, they pretend they have devotion for this, they have all this, but they are erred. And such people are not worth looking at. So, the hypocrites, the persons who pretend like this, should not be there at home and should not be worth to look at them. So, he says, Akhanda Paripurna Ganalinga Guru Channabasaveshwara, Shiva, be my witness. For all his feelings, thoughts and ideals, Karibasaveshwara makes Shiva as his witness. He swears in the name of Shiva and Guru and etc. So anyhow, he focuses on purity of mind and heart. If you don't have the purity of mind and heart, then only you are hypocrite, then only you are a pretentious person. So with these expletive words, Karibasaveshwara focuses focused on the social evils and hypocrisy in the society. Of course, Karibasaveshwara called his vachanas Sadgati vachanas, that is, the vachanas for emancipation of mind and spirituality. So, in such a situation, prevailed at that time, in the 17th century, end of the 17th century and the beginning of the 18th century, around Kushtagi and Bijapur and etc., this Karibasaveshwara Swami revolted in his own way. Even though he was a Pitadipati, he could not control his anger against these social evils, hypocrisy, pretension, prostitution, dictatorship, suppression, and loving for others' property and others, or craving for others' property and others, woman and man. So, like this, Kushtagi Karibasaveshwara expressed his own thoughts, feelings, and etc. Of course, here he used simple language. Anyone can read them, anyone can listen to them, and by listening or by reading, one can understand. Even though one is not a literate, he can understand the theme of Karibasaveshwara's vachanas. So, in this way, Kushtagi Karibasaveshwara enriched vachana form and vachanas, and by that he contributed a lot to Kannada language and literature in particular, and world literature in general. Anyhow, that is what we have to see in these vachanas. Of course, there are so many vachanakaras. They spontaneously expressed their thoughts and emotions, and then they gave a shape to them afterwards. That is why these vachanas are prose poetic. These vachanas seems prose poetic sometimes. Whatever it is, whatever form it may be, but vachanas has the source of purifying mind and heart of a man. See you in the next episode. Thank you.